What up, people of Dreadlock? Archie here, Baldo, with a 38-month update. I believe. Honestly, I've lost track of the exact month count. It's 38 or 39. But anyways, so right now I have rubber bands everywhere. That's new. Before that, they've been just kind of hanging out. I don't have too many problems with them conjoining at all. There's a little area back here that was mild. I haven't had problems, serious problems, or even serious concerns about my locks conjoining since a while. So the rubber bands are just nice to keep the frizz down at this point. I think during the summer I'll maybe do this area to keep all the hair semi somewhere else other than my face. And during the fall winter area, I noticed that I wear a lot more hats and keep my hair up or covered, or it's under a beanie or something like that. And because of that, the hair does tangle a lot more. But it does tangle, like I said, in a very enclosed environment. And so that might get, I won't get congos out of it, but I will get two locks that have some loose hair, and that'll lock, and then I'll have to separate that. I don't think that would ever cause an actual congo to happen. But to avoid that, I'll put the rubber bands on, and then what it allows me to do is pretty much to brush it with my fingers. So I'll just, this area normally hangs here, so I can pretty much do that, and the rubber bands will help all the hair separate to its proper section, or the section where it's supposed to be. Same area on this side, I'll do it this way. Normally I had a part naturally right here, so I could normally pull these like that, and then the back just go the way they naturally hang, and that helps out a lot, being able to do it that easy just by having bands on there. I don't know how much it matters, but I think it does, a little bit, or it would have a slight effect. I use plastic bands. They're made out of plastic, and after I'm done using them, you can't use them again, and they will have melted to generally every wrap that you did would probably have some kind of welding to it, because it's more plastic, like I said. I was concerned at the beginning that maybe if you use a blow dryer, it might melt it a little too much and melt it into the hair, but because it has a certain amount of plasticity to it that it's very pliable and moldable, but they tend to hold the shape, and then they're not it's not holding it by restriction. It's just a little ring. After the first day, they don't even feel they're tightening anymore. Whatever the lock was pushing out on it, that's what it'll hold for a while, and then they'll break and they'll fall, or you could taking them off is not that hard. So I figured the longer I leave them, the easier it is for them to come off. So if I try to maneuver them while they're still rubbery or very plasticky, then I have a harder time removing them. So I'll just wait, and it literally comes off like a little ring. That's that. In the 3+ years that I've had my locks now, I haven't had a congo that was so bad that I had to cut or rip it. There was some instances where I had to separate it very slowly if I didn't want to rip anything, but it wasn't too bad. At the beginning, I remember there was a point in time when I was oh, and this was no longer that, and that was my locks got started in with several different methods: twist and rip, back comb, and the crochet hook. So I had all these different, they all react different, so I had all these different things happening at different rates. And so when I overcame that, I don't know how to call it, like that timeline, I could tell something different was happening. Well, right now it feels more like the beginning of that all over again. I just locked my bangs 8, 9 months. I don't know, like a few months ago, like a bit now. But they still feel fresh in comparison to the rest. So that still feels different. I have a fresh Congo of 5 locks over here. I do have the video, by the way. I didn't post it. That was my bad. And then I waited a couple months, but I have it. Anyway, so I have that, and then I have the other Congo that I started over here at year 2. And so all these things, particularly this, is one of the biggest things. It's adjusting. I remember saying that this was a problem area because the texture of the hair was, like I said, this was still smooth, and the back was locked. And because it was such a short section, I felt like, like a scalp couldn't adjust so much. So I would get itchy and I would get some dandruff, but just in that little area right there, that's gone. Like, so that took care of that, like putting it all in the same system. So not a little bit of loose hair and some locked hair, but having it all, and that took care of that for the most part. I haven't had any issues since after the initial month where it's like, ooh, we're fresh and we're gonna be annoying, and you just tightened it like actively. So that first month is like naturally a little uncomfortable or something's going on. But after that, since it has not been problematic at all. So I think that took care of that. And on that note, I feel like if you had like a bigger section, I don't think that would be so much a problem. And if you were gonna do that, I would recommend that you make it like at the crown where like your hair starts to drop, make that one section, and then make the rest the other. If you were gonna do something like that, where you start some in the back, everybody starts going forward. But like I call that the threshold, because then after that, yeah, I don't know. Personal theory. And on personal theories, I remember back in the day saying that I didn't think, and this was like quite a bit into it, I didn't think that the loose hair that would grow after you started your locks would ever surpass the locks after a set point. But I have some hair back there that's like pretty damn close to exceeding. I don't think it will. I still think like it's not gonna happen. But if it does, I'll let you know. I'm keeping an eye on that. When my hair got to about here, I started having that they drop kind of situation. So up and down they drop and they become a thing. Then they got a little bit longer, and then I was like, man, they're hitting the sink. So then I was like, I got into the habit of putting it up. Now they're so big and it's like they're an entity. So I bend down sometimes. I'm like knocking down the toothbrushes or the soap dispenser or whatever. So that's kind of something. That's the next thing I'm getting used to, and pretty much it's like being tall. I don't know how to be tall. I wasn't that tall, but now I feel like those are like would be tall people's problems easy. Sometimes I'll have like just a little more of a bun over here, and I'll walk by something that I could normally just clear easily, and now I'm like it hits the air, not my head. But like, if I was taller, it'd take me some getting used to. I have not thought about a haircut for a while. Like haircuts for me were so regular, like gotta get a haircut. And then even after I started my locks, that was a thing for a while. Like I was like, man, normally I'd have a haircut right now, or normally I'd go get a haircut right now. By now I could. Anyways, I haven't thought about a haircut for a while, till like literally maybe a week ago. About a week ago, maybe 2. My girl got a haircut, so the stylist came over and she was like, I'm not saying to cut, but if you ever do, can I do it? And then maybe think of a haircut, but I haven't had a thought about that. Anywho, people, dreadlocks, that was that. I'll try and get that video where I haven't showed you guys. Oh, and hats modified. Pretty much just go through the seam here and the band there. I'm pretty sure even if you had the one that it's not a snapback, pretty sure that would work. You just have to like pull them out. This I do unsnap it. It's better if I have them on something, because if not, the snap will fucking take some of the hair. So it helps if you have them on a pony before you put it on. Then you can remove the pony, but that's just like whatever. And that's that. So. So like I said, for the most part, they haven't had bands. And if there were some bands, it was like on random ones, probably here and here, whatever, to help me clear that out. Now that I got bands on all of them, you can see how long the loose hair and the amount. I mean, if I pulled it off, that's a substantial bit. This is also my 5-lock Congo. It's already got a solid base. I just wanted to put a, like you can see where they now stop. So all this, it's a solid base now. Like I said, the band's not there to help that Congo anymore. I didn't even put a band on it. I used one of my tunnels, and I just, that helped get it started. On top of what I did, I'll show you guys in the other video. These are my 2 newest ones, and they're lock solid from right here to here. Like I said, the band is to add all this extra hair that would be normally here, and it's long enough. Like I said, it doesn't look that long, but some of this hair is coming from over here, so it's like, so it's pretty long now. The same with this one. See what I mean by like, oh, it was getting there. Like I'm holding the hair right now. You could probably not see that well in the, but I'm like at the tip of it. And then you see all this other one. So I just put that in the band, and there you go. So what banding does is it's gonna take all this random hair that's all coming from this area and just kind of make sure it goes into that one. And it really does work. I did this, like I said, maybe a couple of days ago. This is all fresh within a week, 2. I just finished it today. I got help finishing it today, and that's where we're at. This is my other Congo back here. I don't know where there's hair. This is a lot of loose hair, and it goes to this one. There you go. But you can see how like the hair, even though it's loose, it still could like goes. It could be over here, but then separating it is as easy as just going to that band, and then whatever knotting happened on there, it doesn't stop it from happening. It just gets it back to happening over here. So, and just doing something like that is not that many extra loose hair. So those are a couple of the pros of the bands. And for the most part, like I said, I do not have them on all the time, because from here they're gonna start falling. Some are gonna rip and fall within like a couple days. Some will last a while, so some will be reapplied, if some will not, and then eventually there's just 1 or 2 that you forgot. I'm gonna stop talking now and see you guys later.